The episode name for this is Wrestling. In case you guys are wondering why I'm reviewing a Nickelodeon show, it actually technically does have to do with wrestling. That's what this entire episode is about. So we'll jump into the beginning here. The show opens up with, I guess, the four main characters, or four of the main characters in the show. And Barry, forgive me, I only know a couple of the people's names in the show. I know Zoe, of course, who is the star, and then her two friends, but I don't remember who these other fuckers are. So she's walking there with a couple of dudes, and they're starting off with a very riveting debate about what's heavier, the world's largest pumpkin or the world's fattest man. And while they're in the middle of debating that, a fight breaks out right in front of them. And that's when I kind of laughed at the acting, like the way they stopped and were like, oh my God, kids are fighting. And then Zoe runs up and breaks up the fight. Fucking Brittany Jr. jumps in there and pulls these kids apart. One kid's got a bloody nose. And the whole thing is stopped by the hilariously animated and over-the-top gym coach. This guy was really funny throughout the whole show. And he comes up and breaks the whole thing up, and he's screaming at everybody, and he tells the two kids to shake hands and tells the other kid to change his shirt because he looks ridiculous. And then tells Zoe how he saw her manhandle that 8th grader and pull him apart. And he goes, man, you're pretty strong. I want to have you on the wrestling team. And of course, she's like, what? The wrestling team? Oh my God, no way. And he's like, yeah, you got to be on the wrestling team. And she's like, no. And then he's like, yes, and no, and yes. And finally, he just badgers her to death and gets her to join. She goes, fine, if you'll stop yelling at me, I'll join the team, whatever. So just like that, Brittany Jr. is on the wrestling team. So they cut to her room or her house or wherever the hell she is, and she's hanging out with her two girlfriends. And they are Lola and Quinn. I did catch their names. Zoe is in there complaining to her friends that she's now on the wrestling team. And there's kind of a subplot with her other friend, Lola, who has these desires to be an actress, and she really wants to be on TV. And apparently all of the wrestling matches are broadcast on the high school's local TV channel or whatever. So they have like kind of an amateur broadcasting studio set up with a couple of guys on it, and the girl, Lola, gets the idea that she wants to be one of the broadcasters, or the color contemplator, as she put it. So she just wants to be on TV. She sees this as a stepping stone, even winds up approaching the other kid at school. The lead broadcaster guy tries to flirt with him. He's kind of a dork. He sees through it, brushes her off, and says, get the hell out of my face, basically, which I thought was pretty funny. We then get to practice. First day of practice for Zoe. She shows up at the gym. One kid, I don't know his name, he's very much against it. He's giving her shit, not happy at all that she's there, and said that she already ruined basketball, and that cracked me up. So I'm assuming there's another episode where she joined the basketball team, is what I'm guessing there. And then Coach Idiot barges through the door and shows up and tells her to go get on the jump rope and work out for a little while, because she has to catch up to all of these other guys that have been working out for months and months and months. So he basically just makes her work out. The dude is so over the top. He's so crazy. As cheesy and corny as it was, he did have me laughing a couple of times. I will admit that. They then cut to this really horrific workout montage. Not exactly a Rocky level montage here, and really hilarious chin-ups. Zoe's doing chin-ups, and she's clearly being spotted underneath her, but you can't see it. And she's grimacing and, working out so hard. So fucking stupid. And then I guess because she spent so much time working out and not much time wrestling at all, hasn't really had a chance to get in there and mix it up with the guys, she's angry about it. And everybody is at lunch. The coach is there with a whole bunch of the wrestling team kids, and she approaches him and says, dude, why am I not wrestling? I'm sick of this bullshit. And then he says, just relax. You are going to wrestle. I'm bumping you up to first string, and he's replacing some other dude who got pissed off at that. And he said, you're going to wrestle in the regional tournament in a couple of weeks or whatever the fuck. So just like that, she is now first string, and she's going to be wrestling in the big regional tournament like Karate Kid style. This show just keeps on making sense, doesn't it? Zoe then lets her friends know about these latest developments, and she'll be wrestling in the tournament. And that's when they inform her about this guy, Javers. I guess he's the star athlete of another school. He's like a fucking Brock Lesnar type of kid. They show her a tape of him going completely apeshit, beating up referees, beating up fans, and just annihilating every opponent he gets on the mat with. He's undefeated, and he's just a monster. And now it's tournament time. So just like that, that, we're on to the big regional tournament. All of Zoe's friends are there to watch the action, and everybody's getting ready. Everybody's doing their stretches, and that's when Lola is looking at the broadcast team. She really wants to be over there, really wants to be on TV, and Quinn is like, do you really want to be on TV? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, okay, hang on a minute. And Quinn sets off to go eliminate one half of the broadcast team. And I guess it's revealed later at the end that she sprayed him with some purple shit and then handcuffed him to a flagpole or something like that. And that left the other guy needing a partner. So Lola goes over there and approaches him and says, hey, can I sit in? And he basically just gives in and lets her join the broadcast booth. They didn't have anybody else. You know, this dumb girl that doesn't even know what the fuck she's watching. She's the only option to sit in as a replacement. So yeah, again, makes a lot of sense. And now it's time for Zoe to wrestle. We're going to finally see Brittany Jr. get in there and mix it up. But the problem is nobody wants to wrestle her. She shows up for her first match, and the guy's like, I'm not wrestling a girl, so he forfeits. And she wins via forfeit. She would start winning all of her matches that way. I believe about 3 of them. Meanwhile, this Javers punk is killing everybody, just murdering every opponent, just cruising and blowing his way right into the finals. And since Zoe won all of her matches via forfeit, it is now Zoe versus Brock Lesnar Jr. in the finals. And this Javers fuck tries to intimidate her and her friends, and I'm just laughing at this kid and his intensity. If I was in high school, I would have killed this kid. But he's the baddest motherfucker in this school, apparently, and he's murdering everybody. So he intimidates them and goes away, and then it's announced over the PA that Zoe is injured, and she's being replaced. But she's standing right there. She's just fine. She hasn't even had a match. Why the hell is she injured? So she goes over to ask Coach Sociopath about this, and he admits that the whole reason why he invited her onto the wrestling team is because he knew that none of the other boys were going to want to wrestle her. And he found a loophole in the rules that he can replace a wrestler if they get injured. So his plan was to use Zoe to defeat everybody else via forfeit, get her into the finals, replace her with another wrestler to at least give him a fighting chance against Brock Lesnar Jr. And of course, Zoe ain't having any of this. So she gets pissed, goes up right before the match is about to start in the finals, and very Karate Kid style, Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. It reminded me of that. She approaches the referee and she's like, dude, I'm not injured. Do I look injured? And he winds up letting her wrestle. So now it's going to be Zoe versus Brock Jr. in the finals. The match is on and Zoe gets fucking hospitalized. This guy ended her in about 1 second. They don't show the carnage. They just show him attacking and then the camera fades to black. She wakes up in a very shady looking hospital. I don't know where the hell they were, and I don't know where this girl's family was. She was just assaulted by a man twice her size and strength, and nobody seems to care except her friends. She's in the hospital completely unconscious, probably has a concussion, potential CTE when she gets older. She's in a world of shit. But nobody seems to really care except her high school friends. She asked them if she won, and they were like, no. And then she asked how long the match lasted, and they said about 2 seconds. And then apparently, I think it was the kid, I forget now, Barry, you're going to have to fill me in here. The kid that was giving her shit when she showed up to practice the first day, he apparently, according to her friends, approached Brock Lesnar Jr. in the parking lot and told him that he was being a jerk, and he got his fucking ass kicked, and it was revealed that he was laying right next to her with bruises and bumps and scars and blood all over his body, and that's how the show wrapped up and rolled credits, and the very, very catchy theme song to close everything out. And yeah, that was an awfully quick review of the show. Barry, I don't know what to tell you, man. I can't say that I could relate to this show, but like I said earlier, what I can relate to is being nostalgic for something, liking something as a kid that might not hold up as an adult. I don't know if you still watch this show or still find it entertaining. I wouldn't doubt if you did, because like I said, all of my guilty pleasures and some of the dumber shows or weirder shows that I watched as a kid, I can still go back and watch and be entertained by. So I hope I did this show justice. As far as how I would rate it, I don't know, because I don't know how it stands up or how it holds up to other shows that are like it, because I know these days and in modern times, there are a lot of shows very much like this Zoe show. So I don't know if this is considered to be one of the better ones. It looked like it only lasted for a few seasons, and I don't know how old these kids are now. they're probably in their mid-20s at this point. But I can definitely relate to having a soft spot for shows that you used to watch. You know, you're lucky. I mean, you had so many options during this time. When I was a kid, you know, in the early 80s, we had very little. There was not shows like this at all. And there might have been one or two. I'm trying to even think what any shows would be. The only kind of pre-teen show or teen show or high school type of show that I can remember watching would have been on Nickelodeon. It was You Can't Do That on Television. It was kind of like a skit show, a variety show. I'm pretty sure that's where the slime on Nickelodeon originated, because if you said something, I can't remember what now, if you said something in the show, you would get a bucket of slime dropped on you from the ceiling, and there was running skits and different things that they did, but the cast was very, very young, probably around the same age that the Zoe cast is. So trying to think back to stuff that I watched that would have been similar to this, we really, at my age, we really didn't have these type of shows. We really didn't. You didn't see this stuff start to arrive until maybe, like I said, the mid-90s, early 90s with Saved by the Bell, and maybe a couple of other shows similar to that. But they weren't really around in the early 80s, at least not to the best of my recollection. I can't remember anything that was even close to this back then. But sometimes you develop a connection to a show and you just stick with it. I've had many shows like that. I've had shows that I've watched that I thought are great and I still love to this day, that are looked back at by critics as bad. Same thing with movies. There's a lot of really bad movies that get horrible reviews that I've always liked. And having a guy like me review this show, Barry, I swear to God, you are the Owen Hart of the IWC, because I swear you were ribbing me. Because if you know me and you watch my streams, or you're listening to my videos or podcasts ever, I do mention from time to time how completely out of touch I am with like modern TV shows and modern music. I don't really watch any TV shows. I've missed out on all the great ones. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I've never watched Breaking Bad. There's so much shit that I've missed only because I just don't really have an interest in watching a whole lot of TV. I already do the YouTube channel and everything else. You know, my plate is full, basically. And the same thing with music. You know, I don't know who any of these fuckers are. I don't know who Nicki Minaj is and shit like that. I don't know who anybody is. You know, all I like is my classic rock, the same shit I've always listened to my whole life. I do not expand very much. I don't know any sort of modern bands, and I don't really listen to anything. So I'm completely clueless when, you know, a celebrity gets in trouble or a rapper, you know, has a beef with another rapper, and I'm sitting here like I've never even heard of either one of these two fuckers. So me, of all people, to review a show like this, I thought was interesting. It definitely gave me something different to do on the channel, and I'm not going to lie, Barry, it was fun. It was really, really fun. So best of luck to you today, dude. I know, like you said in your message, today is a very significant day for you. So I hope that this video and the comments below do their job of cheering you up, because you deserve it. You're a great fan, and I'm really lucky to have you. So we'll talk soon, and I will put your next video idea on the calendar, and we'll get working on that here in the next few weeks. And that's going to be joining the list of a couple of special videos I have planned in the next few weeks. I've got a big Royal Rumble retro review that I'm going to do in January, along with another donation video coming in from Reese Jones again. He was the one that was responsible for that big Undertaker WrestleMania video that I did a couple of months ago. So we got another one incoming from Reese in the next few weeks as well. So yeah, a lot of good content coming to the channel to kick off 2019. You guys take care of yourselves. If you're not going to be joining me later on for tonight's end of year live episode, I wish each and every one of you a very, very happy new year. Thank you again very much, Barry, for your donation, and I will catch you all in 2019. Until then, peace.